Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. So we're continuing our playtest today, and we just finished the summer of 1917. And so the war's getting late. It's getting late in the war, but this game is by no means over because I'm showing you all the navies here, and that's coming to a head here. But you take a look over here, the board has changed an awful lot since my last video. So you can see there's the white armies in here, and you've got the Russian armies in here. Now the white armies and the other things that, like, it tells you where to put them. But with the Russians, that's something that the person who's controlling the Russians, they get a certain number of them, and they can put them wherever they want on any territories that aren't controlled or anything. But we'll get to that in a bit. And actually, take a look here. See that? That's Bob's board. I'm showing the phone there, Bob. So he's there. Say hi.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, so he's going to help me out here, but I'll just tell you what's going on in this game first, before, and then he's going to talk a bit about the revolution. And we've talked a lot about it over the past 24, actually more than 24 hours. We started early yesterday, not as early today. So there's lots to get to, and it's changing as we're talking and everything. So let's just start over here in America and move across the board. You can see there in Texas that that's all American now, and everything. All the Germans are gone from the continental United States. I'll show you the other side when we get there, but they're all gone from over there too. So America could start moving out. They're massing their navy here and moving over here. And of course, on the other side of the board, they don't need to worry about the Japanese anymore, or anybody for that matter. So they'll probably move some of their navy over there. Nothing changed in South America since the last turn, except that Germany got 3 free, not rolls, but got to move their the roundels on the board up here, one space, but only South American, South Central, or North American. So I think he moved up Chile, so he's only one away from that. And I can't remember what that one is, Bolivia or something like that. Anyway, so he got to move some roundels. That's the only thing that happened in South America. And then in the Atlantic here, you can see I went after his subs up there. He convoyed me for quite a bit there. You see he convoyed the Americans for 5 on the past turn. But I missed them both times. Like, I've got the technology where I compare the seaplanes with the torpedo boat destroyers, and I missed both of them up there. I did manage to take a sub out down here though, and he'd taken some money off of this convoy line. And I think that's it, except, well, he convoyed over here as well. He's not moving over there, and unless I move a seaplane over there. And even if I do, like, there's so many sea zones here, right? And so many sea zones that he can convoy. Like, it would cost me like $50 to cover it all, you know what I mean, with seaplanes. So I'm just gonna let him convoy that. It's only worth 2 over there, that convoy line, so he can convoy that to his heart's content. Down here, I think I'd taken this out last turn, but these guys are now on the move. They're moving north now because they're not needed down in South Africa anymore. The only German presence down in Africa is there in Cameroon. And he's got quite a few things there, but I don't know if I'm going to attack him or not, because he's not really hurting me there unless he decides to break out. Then I can easily move back. I've got lots of units in the area, right? And you can see all the navies are starting to make their way up this way. Up here, because there's nothing opposing them. There's no Austrian navy, and you can see the Ottoman navy. Actually, both Austria and Ottoman are both only transports, because he went to attack this territory here, which was empty, and I had a cruiser and 2 transports, and he had a dreadnought and a transport and pre-dreadnought, yeah, and he attacked me and he lost. And then actually we tied, like, we both took off the last unit each, and then he dropped his infantry down, and my fort that had nobody in it, the fortification, you still roll for them, right? And it managed to defend the territory, because I only needed 1 hit, double casualties in the first round, right? So I managed to take him out. Here we just did some attrition rolls. So he's building up in Austria, and I'm building up in northern Italy. And then down here, the British never made any gains down here. Like they attacked both places down here in Saudi Arabia, Syria and southern Iraq, I guess it is. And he managed to hold. This one he almost lost. Like he's resupplied them now. But he almost lost that one. I think he only had one infantry left. But I didn't manage to break through. But look at this. The Japanese are coming. You know, and I thought, oh, great. Now I can just put 2 transports a turn on and I've got all these Japanese units, right? But that's not the way it works, because when they're with the Central Powers, you spend the money, and there was $15. But if they're controlled by the Allies, then it's a recruitment roll, and so you roll a d12, and each number is associated with something. Like it could be an infantry or an artillery or something. So unless I hit that number that you need a transport, that's not going to help me, right? So these guys, they're not at war with the Chinese or anything anymore. So there's not going to be much for the Japanese to do except for fill up the transports they got. I guess I could lend lease some transports, couldn't I, Bob?
Yeah, certainly.
Well, there you go. Guess what America's doing this turn? Lend leasing. And Britain here, they did place some units down here, but I don't think they're going to need to place much more in India, because they've only got to worry about those guys in Afghanistan there. And I don't think you can move any more units to Afghanistan, can you? Because North Persia is not I don't think you can move any more units into Russia, right? Ottoman units?
Yeah, I can move through there.
Oh, you can? Oh, okay. So I guess I am going to have to keep this territory supplied, because I'm fighting the Ottomans on that front now as well. So there was a lot of Japanese in Russia there, but we had to move them down to the nearest territory, which is Korea down here, because you only have 1 Japanese unit and 1 American unit in Primorsky Kai there. And you see this roundel here. This is the white roundel. That's actually, that's not the white roundel. Put a Ukrainian roundel on there. Oops. Anyway, so that's a white-controlled territory. And we'll talk more about these things. Actually, Bob's going to talk more about them now. So let me just get to what's going on in Europe, and then I'll pass it off to him. So the navies here, like I said, they're amassing, and they're getting closer to Germany, the German Navy here. But the problem for me, of course, is that I can't attack all at once, right? Like, he defends with all this stuff, but any one of my navies would get slaughtered to go after him. So I kind of have to, you know, throw one against him and then lose it, and then throw another one again, and then the third one mops him up, which isn't optimal, right? It's either do that or wait until one of my navies is big enough to attack him. One thing that did happen here, probably the biggest thing that happened in the past round, other than changing all these units out, was when he went after Paris. He took everything that was touching Paris, and there's 3 territories there, and he went after Paris like we expected that he would, and he didn't make it. Like, there's still a few units left there, and there was even more, but we drew a card at the beginning of this round that said take 3 infantry off of wherever you want in France, and so of course he took them off Paris. So he might get it right now. It's Germany's turn, and that might very well happen. And nothing really happened in Austria or anything. Like, the Austrians didn't do anything except for fortify where Italy is. So what you got, Bob? Tell us all about it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I can about the Russian Civil War, and I'm going to back up a little bit. I know some of you probably watched the other video, but on the during the game, of course, there's the Russian collapse, and it's a randomized event that can be influenced by circumstances that the Russians find themselves in. In this case, Brian had been pushed hard back parts of Poland and parts of the Ukraine, and so the Russians collapsed. And on that turn, essentially the Russian government is in chaos. The Tsar's been removed from power. You can't spend any money. You can't recruit. You can't do diplomacy. You can't do technology. All you can do is defend. And the Germans have to make a decision. Are they going to continue to press the war with the Russians, take more territory, or are they going to sue for peace? In order to convince the Russians, specifically Lenin, to sue for peace, they have to attack one more time. So I did, and burst my way into Warsaw, because Warsaw is worth additional money, and that just that met that obligation. So on this turn, back up. So at the tail end of that summer 1917, we reset the board. And there's a series of instructions for that. Some of you will be reminded of the Vichy French instructions. And we have tables to lay down the whites. And then, as Brian said, there's a minimum amount of Russian units that you get. However, if you're even more successful than that, you have many more units. You get to take up to half of those. And so the challenge of the Russian Civil War, it is probably one of the more dynamic civil wars. If you look back in history, I can't say it's absolutely the most complex, but it rates pretty high. And the major powers wanted to suppress Bolshevism, which meant challenging the Soviets. And so in this game, it's preferable if you have at least 3 players, because that third player is going to be playing the Russians anyways, and then become the Soviets and find themselves at odds with their former allies as well as with the Central Powers. Now, the Central Powers and the Soviets can't attack each other because they signed a peace treaty, and the Central Powers can't attack the Whites either. But they can recruit for the Whites and send the Whites to do their bidding. The Allies can do the same thing, and furthermore, the Allies can directly attack the Soviets, and they can directly attack the Central Powers if they run up against them in that vast Russian territory. So there's so many dynamics like that Brian's been very helpful in working through and thinking through. We can do it in such a way that meets that historical reality, but at the same time represents the historical times. And I believe we have a pretty good solution as we roll into this. And at this point, I think we're going to see how well balanced it is. This is probably I've been through the Civil War about a half dozen times. And so this will aid in continuing to refine that. So thanks, Brian.
Okay, so you done?
Yep.
Okay. What he didn't tell you is that I'm going to kick his ass. I'm the brown guys in this one. He's the white guys. So that's what's going to happen. Anyway, we're going to get down to playing this game now. It's Germany's turn, and we'll come back after this round. So we'll be back.
And we're back. So that was an interesting turn. I'm sure I thought it was more interesting than Bob did, but let's start in Europe, because he's had 3 opportunities now to take out France, right? The first time he went to Aquitaine and to southern France because he wanted to surround Paris, and that would have been a big help to him, because then the infantry, everything in there actually, would have been -1 on their defense, and that would be a much easier way to take them out. Because without surrounding the city, then all of the infantry class units, so infantry, militia, like if I had a special infantry there, all of those would have been +1, which they were, because he never did manage to surround me. So the last 2 turns he went for Paris here, and the first time he came close. I think I was down to, I think it was 3 infantry left, and that was it. But you only get 3 rounds to attack with, right? And so he wasn't able to, actually, no, I still had a trench line, so he was only able to do the 1 round of attacks, and he got me down to 3 infantry. And so he wasn't able to take it then. And then I was able to non-combat move infantry from Aquitaine and from southern France back into Paris there. And like that, it was a big deal, because I also still had my money and I could still buy. So I'm placing 2 dudes here, 1 dude here, 1 dude here, and plus artillery, right? And because that's the maximum dudes I can place for the amount of territories that I have. Anyway, so the fact that it was wintertime this past turn saved my ass again, because regardless of what I had left, he was only going to get one attack round against me, and I don't even think he came that close. He had me whittled down, of course, because he has so much stuff around me there, that he did pretty good, but he wasn't able to take me out. I think he needed to take out 7, and he had 14 infantry left to roll for, and he didn't even come close. I think he got 2 off me, so I ended up with 5 infantry left here. And then of course I was able to non-combat move again in and make my purchases, and then the Americans moved up over here, and they moved their stuff from Leon Castile into here. And I think that Paris might be safe, because like he can try again now, but I've got lots of stuff in there. He can go 3 rounds this time, assuming that he can break my trench line. But of course, the last thing I want to do is take infantry off. First thing I'll do is take the militia off, then I'll take the Americans off as casualties in the first round. And I should have at least 4 infantry left, which means that he's only going to get the 1 round again. He could get incredibly lucky, and he could take me out, and that will help his cause, because I will lose my income. Like, even if I can get it back, which I probably could, I've got enough stuff around there now. Oops. I've got enough stuff around there now that I could probably take it back. But it would have set me back, of course, because I would have lost that money. I would have lost it to the bank. We had a debate about that, I believe it was a week ago. You know, what should we do with a nation that gets conquered? And the Russians definitely give up their money to the conquering nation, which is Germany. But there's a trade-off there. Like, Germany gets to decide whether or not they're going to sue for peace with Russia, or if they're going to continue on. And so they sued for peace, and so they took the Russians' money, and they spent it a lot. They've got a lot of stuff in here. But one big thing that you've probably noticed that I haven't mentioned yet is the German Navy is gone. And I took 3 or 4 turns to set it up. I moved all of the British boats I could spare from the board, and it really helped that the Japanese flipped over to the Allies from the Central Powers, because I didn't have to defend India anymore. I didn't have to defend America anymore. I was able to bring all my boats this way. So the British went first, and this is what they had left here. Can you see that there? Oh yeah, you can see it. So I've got 2 damaged dreadnoughts and some other boats there. And then I stopped, because I wanted a British Navy left. I need my transports, and I need the bombardment from those boats. And I figured that I had taken him down enough with the British. Plus you only get 2 rounds, so I rolled for 2 rounds in winter. I rolled for the 2 rounds, and I got him down, whittled him down. Then the French Navy came in, and they had 4 cruisers and 2 torpedo boat destroyers. And they whittled them down to, they only had their, I believe 3 dreadnoughts left, 3 damaged dreadnoughts left. And then the Americans came in and mopped them up. The French, even though they only had 2 cruisers left, and the Germans had 4 damaged dreadnoughts and a pre-dread, the French went anyway, because they don't need their boats, right? So they kamikazed themselves into the German Navy, and they ended up getting 2 hits off that. So that, you know, that made it easier for the Americans, and the Americans came in. They only lost a torpedo boat destroyer. I could have taken damage on the dreadnought, but I've got more than enough boats. A torpedo boat destroyer is not going to do me much good anymore. One of the other things that I did was kind of a sneaky play on my part. He had subs down here, and I purposely tried to go through his subs so that he would make me use a screening force to take him out, so that I could attack with the British into the English Channel here. And so of course he said, yeah, you're going to have to combat me. He didn't want my boats going in there, and I was able to take his subs out. So the only Navy he's got left now is a torpedo boat destroyer and 2 subs over here. He's got the 2 transports as well, but of course transports don't fight really. Like it's likely that maybe he'll bust out with his transports. Maybe not. I got a lot of seaplanes, but it's likely he's going to go back through the Kiel Canal and into here, or he might even use them. You know, might as well use my transports and attack someplace in the UK. I don't know what he's going to do. We're done for the weekend now, and so that's the way the situation sits for Germany there. Germany, of course, are secure on the Eastern Front because Russia is now out of the game. And so they don't have to worry about putting anything more down here. All they got to do is to keep one infantry in the places that they took in Russia, because you need to garrison in this game. If you're not in your home territory, then you have to leave at least one land unit in a territory and able to be able to collect for that territory. Like here, this territory here, if somebody else had come in and taken this, then they'd need to leave one unit there, or they wouldn't collect for it. Only Austria could collect for it because it's in their home territory. So that's why they've left 3 behind here. But everybody else is railing towards the Western Front or walking towards the Western Front as fast as they can go, right? But it does not look good for them, and it doesn't look good for any of them now, because America's got 5 transports over there and tons of dudes. The Americans managed to take out Texas, right? And then they moved all of their stuff over, or most of it. Like they've still got some stuff in New Orleans that they're going to walk over next turn to the East Coast. And then all those transports go there, and all those transports go back, right? And it's just a shock now. So the Americans are fully into it with lots of transports. And, you know, when it's coming out to the last turn, then they're not going to bother just railing them up. They're just going to move over, and they're just going to come up here, right, with everything that they can. So, and then the British, of course, are going to be going across. After the Navy was, after they attacked the Navy, then they did bring their transports down and drop off 3 dudes and an artillery into Aquitaine down at the bottom down here. So now they can go straight across with the British Navy. And they do have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, just three transports, and they'll buy more, right? Plus, I don't think that they're in danger at all. Definitely not London in danger. Like if they were to take something over here, then okay, fine, you know, I'll just go take it back. But there's that. We'll get to Russia afterwards. Nothing happening over here. One thing that we did realize, I don't know if I mentioned it, it's been a while since I taped the last segment. I think I did tell you, but yeah, I did tell you. So I did make my recruitment roll. You don't get to spend money for Japan anymore. And I managed to get a militia. Like that was the role that I got, was a militia. I was hoping for a transport, of course. So then they took their transport that was here, they took it over here, and they attacked this guy. They managed to get 1 dude off him with a dreadnought, and then he didn't hit him back, and nothing else hit, and he only got 1 round of combat. So these guys went back onto the ship here, and these guys are coming over. These guys have made it this far. I was coming over there, and these guys have made it all the way over here, you know, just to take out the German Navy, right? But he did move his dreadnought along over there for the Austro-Hungarians. So I'm thinking with these guys here, I might just go sit in here, you know, so that the Austro-Hungarians would have to go through them if they wanted to attack Italy down there, right? I can't see why else he would buy or move his dreadnought along. That dreadnought's been there since the start of the game. He's just decided now to start moving it along, right? And my only guess is that then he could use it to attack Rome directly. Like Rome is not really threatened too much because it is a city territory. I do have 3 units there. The best he can do is take 3 units across and attack a city. So it's kind of a faint hope for him to get it, right? And then of course the Italians could take it back pretty easily. They don't have much of an income there, so you know when they lose if they lose their income, then it's not that bad. The battle down here, the British kind of gave them a reprieve down here. Once I got Greece, that changed things for me. So I didn't even attack either place. I thought, why bother? You know, I've only got 1 round to attack anyway, and I'm not going to get through there. I'll wait until I can do more than 1 round of attack before I go there. But what I did do is I now have 3 transports down here. 2 that came from over here to here last turn, and then 1 that I got from the Greeks. And so they brought as many guys as they could up to Greece there, including the 2 Gurkhas that you see in there. They are mountain infantry, and there are lots of mountains in there, right? So mountain infantry is perfect. So now I've got 3 artillery, a couple of Gurkhas, and lots of infantry in Greece there. So that's a threat to him now down here. He did bring his militia down from Bulgaria and attack Macedonia there, so he took a buck off me. But you know, I wasn't going to split my forces just to save that dollar in Macedonia. I don't really care. So 2 things: I can put pressure on down here and from over here and go to towards Constantinople, or I could take them up and threaten Austria. And I don't think they'd last that long anyway, right? Couple of attacks maybe, and those guys would be gone. But you know, there's only a few 3 turns left in the game, right? So taking them down and whittling them down and maybe coming over with the Italians, or going towards the Ottomans, you know, and taking them down as much as possible, right? That's something to do. One thing I haven't done yet is look at the victory points. So now for the next week, I'll be studying the victory points and basing my game upon that. You know, like, what should I go for? You know, how do I take points off him? How do I get points for myself, right? And so, I mean, I could have done that earlier, but I thought, you know what, there's a lot to learn in this game, and I'm not completely familiar with it yet. Plus, we're changing it constantly. So maybe I will just play the game, and then when it gets late, then I'll look at the victory conditions, and that's what I'm doing. Eventually, after you play the game a few times, of course, you get to know the victory conditions. Like, I know most of them in 36 now. I can't recite them verbatim, but I know basically what I need to do, and then I take a quick look. Oh yeah, that one. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's that. The Germans do have a pretty good force down here. I'm gonna have to look and see, like, do they get a victory condition for having something down in Africa, right? Because then that'll dictate whether I go after them or leave them alone, you know, and take these units up north there and use them against the Ottomans, or yeah, I guess it would be the Ottomans, unless I use the transports to take them across. Now this turn starting, we haven't rolled the card, or we haven't pulled the cards yet. Normally we pull the cards before we break, but we just ran out of time. Robert had to go do a work thing, so we didn't have time to pull the cards. One of the cards that I forgot to mention from the last round, in the last segment of video, was everybody lost a D6 worth of money. It was not equal. I lost $22. He lost four or six off his income. Like you roll for everybody, right? I lost $22 and he lost, I think it was 6. So that helped him out this round. Otherwise, I would have had, you know, like another $22 worth of units around the board. Like it was $5, $5, $5, $5, and $2 for the Chinese. So I mean, the Chinese, there's nothing they need to do anymore. There's nobody going to fight them unless there's another card that says, "Psych! Japan joins the Central Powers again." Well, you know, unless that happens, I better read through the cards too over the next week, so that I know what might be coming for me, right? So I think that's about it. So let's get to Russia there. Now Russia, of course, we've just started. We've only done one turn with Russia. So it's mostly just been recruitment. I did a couple of attacks with the Russians, but the thing is, the Russians gave their money up, right? They had to give it to Germany. So they played this turn without any money. In other words, they weren't able to buy anything. Now they have 10, 15, they've got 17 IPP to spend next time. The one thing that's saving grace for them is that they have wartime economy. Otherwise, they would have only had 8. They have to count up the dollars on the board, right, that they own, and that's how they derive their income. And a lot of them they're not able to get, because anything that is Central Powers, like they're white territories, but they're controlled by Central Powers, like this one here. That one's worth $1. These ones down in Ukraine, there's dollars down here. In Poland, there's dollars over here. All these territories that are worth $1, I can't even get to, because they're controlled by the Central Powers, or their Ukrainian or Polish territories, and I think I can attack them, but they can't attack me unless I attack them. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to read on that as well. But it doesn't make sense for me to attack them right now anyway, because I'd just be getting new enemies, wouldn't I? What I really need to do is wipe out the white army. And so the only attacks I did, he didn't do any attacks on me with the whites. He just recruited with the Ukrainians, the Poles, and the whites. And I think he managed to get 3 units in total spread around Russia. Another card told me to rail units in. I think I forgot to rail the French guy in. Oh no, I did. I railed him to Primorsky, or sent him to Primorsky Krai. So a card told me that I had to take units from the Allies and put them in Russia. So what I did do is I attacked the 2 ports up here, and I thought, like if I can take the ports out, then I'll get myself a port. Once I open a port, then I think that adds to my income as the Soviets, right? It's difficult to play this without 3 players because I'm playing the Allies, but I'm also playing the Russians, and they're competing against each other. So in order to play test this, I'm just going to have to do it honestly, right? When I'm the Allies, I try as the Allies. I try to kick the Russians in the nuts if I can. The Soviets, I mean, they're all Russian, right? And then when I'm the Soviets, then I try as best as I can to win for the Soviets. So that's all I can do right now because we don't have 3 players. And this is the way we're trying it now. We may change it, there's many ways that we could change this, right? Like it's an open canvas right now, and we've got all winter. But this is the way we're doing it now. And I did do an attack here into Orenburg, but again, wintertime, I only got 1 round. So these guys all came into here, and then they all had to move out. I did manage to get 1 guy. I think that's where he placed a white infantry. I wanted to attack this guy, but I wanted to come with the train as well from Moscow. And Bob said, I don't think you can get the train there. Oh yeah, it doesn't go through here. And I couldn't go through here because that's white territory, right? So I had to attack this guy. I want to open my rail line up for that train for sure. Armored trains are actually a pretty good unit in this game, considering there's not much offense, right? And then over here, so this is where the American put their unit. They had to take an existing unit, right? So he took a guy off of San Francisco and put him here. And the French put a dude here. He came from Africa. He's going, I got to go where? They taken him from sub-Saharan Africa over there. He's nice. He's wearing shorts and everything. And they send him to Vladivostok. And he's like, what? That wouldn't make me very happy. But anyway, that's where he ended up. And I think that's it, I think that's it. Yeah, so it's I don't know, like the Americans coming into the game this early, that's not something that's going to happen very often, right? There was a number of things that happened, and it almost accidentally brought them in the game early. And I think that at this point now, I'm predicting an Allied victory. But that I don't know, because I never played the game, right? Who knows? Maybe the Russians will win, But yeah, I think that the fact that he couldn't take Paris on the last couple of turns, I think that was his last gasp. Because like if he could have taken them out, then the French might have been out of the game. Like if I couldn't have taken Paris back, then all of the French units come off the board, all of the French boats, like that might have saved his navy over there, for another turn at least anyway. The Americans and the British would have eventually have taken him out. But that was a really, really big deal. And so with the Americans in it so early, like the Americans should still be back there. There should be no Americans over here yet. Or they're just landing now, right? But here I've got 4, 6, 6, and 8. I've got 14 units, American units in Europe right now, and half American Navy in the English Channel. I got a seaplane there. So I don't know. He's going to be in tough, that's for sure. And I've got to do some, this turn here, aside from pulling cards, there's some nations, I believe Central and South American nations,
that are going to join the Americans. You know what? Let me just do that. I'll pause this and I'll come back and I'll show you what happened there. Okay, so nothing groundbreaking there. So I got Liberia, and then up there I got Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Nicaragua. Yeah, so really nothing groundbreaking. None of them are worth any money, and they've all got a militia. That's not going to make or break the game. So yeah, so that's about it. There's nothing going to hurt or change the game much. Like you can see, there's only 2 boats left down here, a torpedo boat destroyer and a cruiser. And like he's close to getting Chile. If he gets the right roll, then he gets Chile. And again, he needs 1 roll and he gets Norway up there. So that is something that that can happen before the end of the game. And again, have to look at the victory conditions, see if there's anything about that. Like I might have to just go up there and take Norway, you know, pay the $7 and take it out. We'll see. Anyway, that's all I got for you this weekend. So we're planning on starting up again next Saturday. And so join us again. Oh, you know, I don't think I showed you Italy. Or no, sorry, India. There is a bit of a conflict brewing here. Neither one of us attacked each other this turn. Both of us were pretty weak there. And again, winter time. So if you can't go with overwhelming odds and you don't have 3 rounds, then it's likely you're going to lose more units than you gain. So neither one of us attacked each other there, and so that's what's happened over there. That'll be a conflict going on. And that's about it. That's about all I got for you. Nothing happening anymore in the Pacific. I'll have to read up maybe Marshall Islands and Kaiser Wilhelm Land and the Germans down in there. Maybe that's worth something. I might have to do something about that. We'll check it out. Anyway, join us next weekend. So take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.